Hi and welcome to example 2 in this interactions video. Now in this one a hand pushes a box as in the diagram below, moving at constant acceleration. So that's different than the previous example. In number 1 it was moving at a constant velocity, now it's moving at a constant acceleration. So the big part about here is that we're going to say, oh, this means that they're going to be unbalanced. And I think we can make the assumption, or let's just do it anyways, that it's going to be accelerating to the right. So in which case, that on each of our force diagrams, it'll be unbalanced to the right. Okay, so let's make this box number 1 and that box number 2. And let's consider now, okay, so maybe I'll do the blue box in blue. So here will be box number 1, and we'll be thinking about the forces acting on it. You know, I'm going to do first the force pair, the 1 pushing on 2 and the 2 pushing on 1. I'll just do that first. If this is box number 1, box number 2 will be pushing to the left on it. So I'm going to do this one in red so it stands out. So I'm going to say this is this normal force of box 2, or wait, so I say on box 1, right? Okay, on box 1 by, you know what, instead of writing the word box every time, how about on 1 by 2? How's that? And going over here, and I'll do this one in green maybe, so this will be box 2. And here is my object. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just start this one off and say, okay, here is a normal force. In this case, this is on 2 by 1. And I'll put the equality marks in right away. Okay, so now I'll go back to the regular colors. Looking back at number 1, what are some other forces acting on it? Well, we love putting in the force of gravity here. Force of gravity on 1 by the Earth. There's going to be a normal force of the table on 1 by the table. The hand is pushing it to the right, so I guess that would be an applied force, I think, or you could say a normal force of the hand. I'm going to say an applied force. And notice how nice and long I write it here. I'm going to say this is an applied force by, or on 1 by hand. And I'm going to say there's friction involved in this case too. So I'm going to put a little friction force. I'll put it over here, and I'm going to say there is a friction force on 1 by, that would be the table. Now I wonder if there's any equality marks that we could put into this, and it seems to me that vertically those two are going to cancel out. I'll put 2 ticks on there. Horizontally they won't cancel out. I could write a little statement here. I could say that, oh, like, it's unbalanced to the right. So one way I could write this, I could say FA, which is going to the right, is greater than this FN. Maybe I'll write the red one so we can differentiate. Is greater than this one plus this one. So in other words, the one arrow to the right is greater than both arrows to the left added on top of each other. Okay, going over at box number 2, and here I'll do like this so we can see the picture at the same time. I've got the force of 1 pushing on number 2. There's going to be a force of gravity. This one is, the box is larger, so I'll draw the force of gravity a little bit larger. So I'll say force of gravity on 2 by the Earth. And then there'll be this upwards here. This would be a normal force on 2 by table. And those two will be equal, so maybe I'll put a circle here just to come up with something new. Those two are equal. And is there anything pushing it to the left? Well, if we put friction before, I think we're going to have to put some friction as well. So I'll put a little bit of a friction here. Force of friction on 2 by the table. And I think we're doing pretty good in terms of equality marks because, again, we want it to be accelerating to the right. We can look at it as individually as a box which is accelerating to the right. So in other words, it has to have an unbalanced force to the right. So I could make a similar statement here. I could say that now that the red normal force is green greater than my force of friction on that one. Okay, that's about it.